The last point was that when Seichel or Midas Animshech in Dibur, so that Hamshacha itself draws on the Ratzon of the Nefesh, the parallel being Keser. And that is the Bligul Shubin Nefesh, as he will elaborate presently. Maybe said it already. So that is the third last line. That's Inyan Zesh B'Nefesh B'Chol to later the matter. That the person is able to, as it were, descend, this ability to descend and even and communicate to someone outside. So that's B'chinas Hagilu Shelo. That's still the Nefesh itself. But the Shedish of the Dibur itself, which is not Gilui per se, as explained at length previously, that is Be'etzim HaNefesh. There's one theme throughout the entire Maimer that's developed and expressed in various ways, and that is the Bi'adini, and that is that the Amshacha that comes as a result of Malchus. In simple language, as we put it, to fulfill Malchus's need, that draws on the true Etzim. Whereas the Amshacha, that is simply mitzad dashpa of Zah, even though it draws on Keser, but it draws on Chitzenius Keser, or Chitzenius Haratzin. Or we can call it, Pnimius Haratzin of Zah, but not the Etzim of the Nefesh. Okay, continuing this now, Neizai. This we can explain, that which is brought earlier from the Alter Rebbe, the Pirish Bi'adini Sheboy Yimshach HaShefa V'Yosef HaTzadik. Bi'adini is, the diuk here is that the Hamshacha should be because of me, or in me. That's the word of the Alter Rebbe, which this whole Maim has been explaining. He explains it further. It's always revisiting the same Nekuda again and again with greater elaboration. To the Chura Kivin Yehuda Bikish question. Since Yehuda Bikish is Emi Yosef, Yehuda is asking Yosef. It should have been that he's asking Yosef to be Mashpia and fulfill his request. That's the way it should have been. Why did he request Shabai that in him be Yehuda Yimshach HaShefa? Again, we're not getting another fundamentally new explanation. Although you would think that's what's coming, but it's not. It's just further and further elaboration of the Nekuda that was said earlier. The explanation in light of the above, so it's a little bit, no, I'm not clear, because the way he presents it is that it's something new. What's new is, as we just got to see.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
The question?
Yeah.
Yehuda's request should have been, Yosef, please give. Please respond to my request. Bi'adini explains that the whole kvetch of Yehuda's request is for me. He's saying to Yehuda, give the hashpah for me. But it's up to Yosef, so it's got to be Yosef. Please give hashpah.
You mean for my sake?
It's kind of he's undermining his request. When you request of somebody, you're asking them to do the favor. You do something. He's like, and Yehuda's not talking about them. He's talking about himself.
Please do me a favor, but my way.
I don't know. I don't hear you. I just don't hear now.
Please do me a favor, but on my terms.
Yeah,
That's you to say.
yeah. I see. I'm hearing you extremely faintly.
Okay, 1 second. Maybe I'm gonna
It's Chaim. It's not you, Rabbi. It's Chaim.
Yeah, no, I hear. I recognize it. It's fine.
Okay. I what's the call? I made a lot of.
Okay, that's better.
He's basically telling Yosef, I want you to do something, but the way I want you to do it. In other words, I want you to give me, but not the way you want to give naturally. The way, in other words, which is for you, that you're the big who knows what. Give it because of me. Nothing to do about you. I basically want you to be mivatal.
Right. So then the beer that's coming now again, what's a bit strange, which I don't have. When you're talking about a beer bazeh, it sounds like that was introducing something completely novel. It's not. Over and over again in the Maimber, there's really not a new nekuda. All the yeshloimers are just expanding on it. So it's a little bit off-putting in the sense that I don't know why it's framed this way. But anyway, as you'll see, it's also one the kuda that Malchus is mushish in etzem hanefesh. Dibur is mushish in etzem hanefesh, and Malchus is mushish in etzem hakeser. But let's see, maybe there's something more that's being added really up. You'll hear my question once we're finished. It's known with respect to the innovators in Kalim, the Zohar Malchus. Yosef Yehuda in Bedugmas Eidos v'Kalim. So Zohar is Eid and Yehuda is Kalim. Why would the Eid be Nimshach? We've come across this a few Ma'amarim ago. I don't recall which one. That which the Eidos and Nimshach and the Kalim, Sherish HaKalim will remind the Sherish HaEidos. The Sherish of the Kalim is higher than the Sherish of the Eidos. Given Sheba Eidos Nirgeshes, Mailis HaKalim Shemitzat Shorashel. Now the Eid appreciates this because the Eid is Gili. The Keli doesn't know its own Sherish as it were, but the Eid recognizes the Maila of the Keli. That's why there's this desire to be nimshach within them, because the Eir senses the Maila. But what he's going to go on to say is the point that he said earlier. That kind of amshacha still does not unlock the etzem of the Keli. That's the ultimate shayrish. As he goes on to say, the kiven shayrish hem giloi, since the whole nature of Eir is giloi, l'chein gamba ma'ale the Kelim. So when the Eir looks at Keli, what virtue is it seeing? What is the Maila? They're seeing the Maila in this context. What's felt in the Eidus was Zesha. They are Kelim, Mizgala Habligvul should be Nagili. It's still about Gilui. Our Gilui now is going to be greater. There's a greater reach of our own Gilui, Zah, or of Eir, is now furthered by being nimshach in Malchus. In practice, the Deisha Eidus mislabshim bekelim and nimshachim gam ba'elim mizbiyah, vad ba'elim is agashmi. So, but what is all this? This is all about the reach of the Gilui. So, in other words, what he's saying is what Eir sees itself is a Gilui dikamayla that will have in Malchus. If I'll be nimshach in Malchus, this will reveal even greater the power of the light of the Eir, as it were, of the Amshacha, that it can come all the way down in the Ilmas beyond, even in the Ilmas Akashmi. But that's still not, he goes on to say, the real atzmistik maila of the Keli. Let's continue. Now that is a bizarre Malchus, the Zer Shazar Yitzhak Ashpiyah Malchus. This which Zohar wants to be mashpia and not being forced, because it sees, Zohar sees a maila that it will have in this, as it were. The kol hashpar hiberotz, that's what we mean by draws on kesed. The hashpar is willing. So what is it? What is it feeling? It's feeling the mile of Malchus. However, what is it sensing? By coming down into Malchus, in italics, which is the whole point here, the Ashpa is so great that it's nimshach even the matter. So in other words, it's a motion for that would be like a teacher who teaches a great physicist, whatever it is, a master who is teaching to a child, very limited keli, this deep idea. So there's a big talent in that. It's a greater talent than an ordinary teacher to be able to bring an idea down all the way that the child should grasp. But it's still about the shleimus of the mashpia. That's not what's going on over here. That's not derech harogel the hashpah of Zoh in Malchus. That the oid is margish by being nimshach in the keli, its gilui will be greater. That the keli will summon forth a greater gilui. However, Yehuda is being machadish, a whole different kind of hashpah. No. This is not about your shleimus of gilui, but biadini. Shamshocha, Sashefa, Mizola Malchus Tia, Lebechdei Shamshocha, the Zon Tia B'Shleimus. Ella, Bechdei, Shebahal Malchus, Yumshach Hashef. The whole Kavanah here is the Makabal itself, as we said yesterday. The point is not that I want you to know, it's that you should know. Biadini, for Yidei Zed Nafke Tia Kamecha Kapare. And here, with Zoh, will go beyond its own consideration of its own shleimus. The whole kavana will be only the makabel, then kamecha kapare, then pare priya is priya kol hayrin, then aliyah zol the etzem hakesed. Further elaboration, restating this now. Beginners hakesed in misgala bezal yadei sham shacha de zon imshachas lemata mata. What level of kesed is revealed? Not to be aduni, one that is because of me. What is revealed in Dashpa B'chlal? What level of Kesser? You get the flow again. So what is that? It's the inyan habligvul, not the etzem. The bligvul, the oil, the reach of Kesser. What a great teacher can bring it all the way down, lamata, to the kid, to the child. Should be cholti lis nimshech lamata mata. So that's what gilui the kesser. However, by Yidei Yosef Zoh, Yamshech Hashefa Yud Malchus, B'chtei Sham Malchus Yamshech Hashefa Biadini. But when it's not about the shleimus of the mashpia, tremendous shleimus to bring it all the way down, but rather the kavanah here is that the makabel should get, period. Then on Yidei Zeh Yeh Gilui Etzem HaKesed. Again, he hasn't really stated anything new, so it's a little bit, what's what I'm looking for. It can be confusing the way it's phrased. Akasha Yesh Lemer, it's a new thing is coming. It's not a new thing, but he's just putting it in greater hasbar and greater oisius, talking about oil and keli, it's the same nakuda throughout the entire line. Let's continue. Tzarech biyur. The answer to this question, friends, will come at the end of Ois Ches. It's a long shtickle. Again, it's going to be the same nakuda, but further elaboration. What are we talking about here? We're talking here about etzem versus giluyim. That's the nakuda. And the etzem is only drawn when the Hamshocha is mitzad and because of the Mekabel. That's the Nakuda. This is going to be further elaborated upon as he explains the Shomesh Yisrael and how they're rooted and their atzmidige connection. Let's continue. So that'll be a first akasha. Given Shinyon Ishal Zoh, who Giloi, sin Zoh is Giloi, had it ain't Shaykh L'chayre, Shehi Ba Inyan She'ene Giloi. How are we saying to Zoh? Listen here. Yosef says, Bi Adini. Forget about your milas, and I didn't like anybody here. There's no doors to close here. Okay, forget about your milas, but your dashpo should only be mitzad. And Mekabel mitzad tekeli mitzad malchus, who's mushish and etzet. The question is, how could Zoh respond to such a thing? Kol inyon is gilui. So ve'eich pol Yehuda itzel Yosef inyan biyadini. How does Yehuda pale by Yosef such an inyan? Sheyamshech shefel malchus b'shvil malchus. Hamshoch she'en shaychus l'chura yina giluyim. You're talking about atzmit dikemanya. That's wonderful. But here we're not talking. But Zoh doesn't relate to atzmit dikinyonim. The whole gather of Zoh is Giluyim. So when Zoh appreciates, if you are going to bring this seichel down to a child, you're going to understand it's a meditative talent, and your understanding of the concept will deepen immeasurably. No? Das versteht this Zoh understands. Just the mashpia says, okay, I'll be nimshach lamata, because I'm margish that by nimshach lamata, I will have a tremendous, deeper understanding myself, the shleimus of it. Of the mashpia, of the idea that he's teaching Pasha, and the shleimus of a mashpia. That Zoh can respond to. We're telling you, forget about Giluyim, but this whole world is all gathered as Giluyim. Question's clear? I don't see anybody's face. Does someone just do this? I don't know what happens now. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So even so a long beard. Again, the answer which will emerge at the end of Ches, of this size. So, prefacing what he says in the Torah about the menorah, V'gam b'adrush in the parshas Vayigash, also in the memorim of parshas Vayigash. Binyin ke'avdech ha'ore v'sanad. Yehuda says to Yosef, like, why is he, of all the brothers, why is he stepping forward? Because he guaranteed his father that he will bring Binyamin back. So this is the union of Arvus. This, that one Jew is responsible for the other. The Gemara in Shavuos, umipnei, is two taichin of the word arvus. It means responsible, it means mixed. They are mixed. Aravim lashon be'uravim, as in being mixed, as in an Erev Tavshilin. And this is amongst the reasons, even compared to menorah. As in the famous Nebuah to Zechariah, that he saw menorah Zav Kula, a whole menorah of gold representing Klal Yisrael. Pure gold representing Klal Yisrael. Now, what's the menorah? The Kamesha ben Menorah Nemar. Miksha tiyasa ha-menorah. The menorah has to be made not by welding pieces of gold together, but it has to be beaten out of one solid ingot. Now, what happens when you beat out the gold? When the gold is beaten, what happens is, you depress that which was upper, right? You're depressing that gold. When you press in, with the hammer strikes and depresses the gold there, so that which had been raised now is depressed, as it were. And around it ascends. And it's out of Hakol Yachad, and it all becomes mixed as one. Because all Yidden are mixed and incorporated one in the other. It's a Lashon here from the Pasuk brought in the Torah. So much so that you can't see who's high and who's lower, upper or end, first or last. This is the Pasuk. The Pasuk says that Yidden are called Adam. Should call Yisolim can make Adam Echad. All Yidden are one person, one entity. Now he's going to go and explain this Achdus on two levels. There's a Gilui Dika Achdus, and there's Atzmis Dika Achdus. And then he'll answer why Zohar is drawn to this, even though Zohar's Inyan L'Cha'ira is only Gilui. See that it's not so. It's not only Gilui, because of the Atzmis Dika Achdus of all Yidden, as he will explain at length. Yeshleima, that comes out at the end. Just give you a heads up. We just finished. The last words of the previous paragraph were that all Yidden are like one Adam. It's not the same thing. It's a higher, deeper level than all Yidden being mixed with each other. The mixture component. To explain, the when you say things are mixed, you're saying already that they are separate, and then you say Shnis out of Yach become mixed together. And likewise, the idea of beating out the menorah, hammering it out. When you're beating, so you're acknowledging that there's two inyanim, there's above and there's below, and you're mixing it, hammering and hammering. The upper comes lower, the lower comes upper. They're mixed up. The marshal maila get the mata, that which was uppermost descends, marshal mata ilal maila, and through the beating it raises that which was lower. So that's already implicit in there is a degree of chiluk. What's the chiluk? Maila and mata. This that Yidden are one person, this addresses a level of oneness that's beyond division altogether. This that Yidden are called Adam, it's a pasuk in Yechezkel. David says, you are my flock, and then Adam Atem. In the guf itself, in the unity, there are two levels of unity, a lower and a higher. A lower one, which still acknowledges, as it goes on to say, Rosh and Sof, and a higher one on Atzmis Dika level. Let's see. What the first thing is, that each organ and part of the body completes the other. Each one needs the other one. But each one has its own identity that's mashpia and completes the other. So every Aver is both a Rosh and a Sof. That's the Lashon. Rosh v'Sof, because each one can be pinned to only a Rosh or only a Sof. And Mekabel or they're both. Obviously, the head contributes to the foot, but the foot contributes to the head, because without the foot, the head can't get to where it wants to go. So this level, this lower level, in this sense, that the regel contributes and takes the head to where it wants to go. In that sense, it's a rosh. So there is this iskalulus, but the iskalulus is still pointing to, in every aspect of it, the Rosh and Sof. In one level he's a makabel, one level he's a mashpia. But the distinctions still remain. We're still acknowledging, that's the whole point of it, that every Aver is both a Rosh and a Regel. The Kivin should call Aver who Rosh, since everyone has this Rosh property. Why? He called Aver Yeshli Maila. Each limb of the body has a unique contribution that contributes to all of the other limbs. So the scholarless is that you cannot say it's only this one is only a rosh, this is only a sof, meaning a mekabel and mashpia. No, every limb is both mashpia and mekabel. Now that is a beast. Likewise by Yidden, this is all the lower unity. Every Yid is a mile, a unique virtue. Mailazu, who mashpia l'shakol Yisrael, and his mile he contributes to all of Klal Yisrael. That's incomplete without, but he brings his unique talent. In many ways, he's a makabel, but there is something that he has that's unique that he contributes. The nimsa should call Yisrael mashlimim zeh. All Jews, we need each other. This is the machzas hashekel. Each Jew completes each other. In brackets, the rosh v'sof. There is. You're both a mashpia and you're a makabel. But you cannot pin it, you can't establish and limit by your motzeh. Find definitively mi yarosh miyasof. Who is the mashpia and who is the makabel? Everybody is. So it can't be. Not one part of the guf can be limited. It can be defined as only Rosh and Sof. That's one level of Iskalos. This is what it's going to end up saying is that this is a Iskalos of Oyer, of Giloi, where each one feels the mile. Oh, you have something to contribute by coming down to you. There's a shleimus here. That's all in the world of Giloi. The world of Maila. But then, there's a deeper level, an essential level, a cellular level. You look at each Aver, and what is it? Part of the person. And when you say it's part of the person, of the guf, each one is exactly the same part of the person. Because this doesn't address you, the mashpia, makabel. You are. This is part of the human body. One part is not more human body than the other. That's atzmisdika level. That's a cellular level. That is the Yisrael. So then there's a deeper level of achdus. Shekol echad mi Yisrael, hu chelik meklal Yisrael. That everybody is a part of Klal Yisrael. Nobody's more part of Klal Yisrael than anybody else. We're not talking mashpia, makabel, completing each other. But etzem echad, in other words, every Yid is Klal Yisrael. And Klal Yisrael is every Yid. We'll look at Order 43 tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, and then we're on a cliffhanger a little bit. And this is going to be, this is what Yehuda is Megala. This atzmisdik connection. That at the end of the day lies at the core of Zoh as well, even though Zoh doesn't know it. His whole world is Giluyim. He's telling us you should know you are more than just a Rosh and a Makablam, all of the Milas. You and I and all of us are Etzem Echad Poshet. Okay, we'll see that in Mitzvah Hashem tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday. Okay, we're leaving early in the morning. Yeah, we're still there. Okay, so let's show that tomorrow.
How does this go together with the Moshe?
I don't hear Chaim, speak up.
1 second. How does this?
I can't hear you.
I don't know why you can't hear me. How does this go with the mashal that of a guf and neshama? The neshama sees in the guf the Mila. Now the Guf is explaining the Neshama. Yehuda is explaining Yosef. Please see that you are not a mashpia and I'm not a makabel, but we're all one. And therefore, what you're giving shouldn't be about yourself, about the cause.
Hang on 1 second. I don't think he said Neshama and Guf.
He said that in the Ha'ara.
Shemaim v'aretz, which are we talking about?
He said Neshama and Guf, Ha'ara. There's a Ha'ara.
Which are we talking about?
Wait a second.
Yeah. The Neshama is Mar. Which one?
Yeah, there is.
Which one?
1 sec. I am going to look for it. Wait a second. Ha'ara 22.
Let me look at it for a second. Okay, so what are you asking?
I don't know what I'm asking, but I'm just saying how the neshama, the guf is telling the neshama, don't behave like a neshama, where you have to express yourself. Rather, think about that we're all one. I don't know.
So it's not exactly the same thing. It's not exactly the same. A guf is a nivra. It's not exactly the same thing. The guf is a nivra. The point of Ha'ara 22 is that the bechides of atzmos is dafka in the guf. Dafka, since the guf of a yid is the same as a guf of a non-Jew. So that's what true bechira is manifest when things are equal. So bechides of atzmos is dafka in the guf. So Ha'ara 22 is saying that by the neshama coming down into the guf, it will access the gilui of atzmos, which otherwise is not revealed openly in the neshama itself. Because in his Ha'ara 22, he says, the sheresh haguf l'mayim sheresh neshama. What does that mean? The sheresh of the neshama, when we say sheresh of the neshama, it's the directly traceable source, which is Chachma Atzilus. But the emes is the neshama is mushish and atzmos, and that's unlocked by the neshama coming into the guf, because of the guf is the patent b'chidas atzmos. You know why this body is Jewish? Because God chose. There's no mile in the guf; it's just God's choice of it. So that unlocks the atmistic property of the neshama. But what we're talking now is neshamas. We're talking about neshamas, not neshama and guf. So it's not mamish the same inyan. It's not the same inyan. Guf and neshama are not one. All neshamas are one. Guf at the end of the day is a nivra. But in this nivra is bechidas ha'atzmos. Okay, so tzarech iyun and bir further, I don't know, but I'm just pointing out it's not the same thing. Sorry, don't have more than I could.